Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second event. And today it's all about vegetables. Okay. So the characteristics of our zone, as we have determined that we are in zone 10 last time, and we were talking about the fruits that grow well in our zone. So today we're going to mention all the vegetables, and here's a whole list of vegetables that grow well in our environment, especially now. This is our planting time, so we are heading into an amazing time where everything will grow beautiful and prosper. So how do you determine? You can see the list here. I don't know if I have to mention them, but they are all the vegetables you can even think of. You can plant them right now and they will grow pretty much. The melons you will want to leave a little bit later in the season, maybe in springtime, because then they will grow into the summer. They love the heat, and you just have to remember to water them because they are primarily water. Vegetables are primarily water, so you need to remember to water them well. The system for determining what plants will survive and grow best in your area is, trial and error. But just remember, they need water, they need sunlight, they need airiness so that the air will flow and they will not be just in a stagnant environment, stagnant area. Work with what you have, and your space is your place. So what do you have? What space do you have? Do you want to try container garden? They can be low, they can be raised, they can be flower pots. You can use old tires and tear them up and create a tower garden from tires. You can use barrels or any other wonderful things that you can creatively reuse and use for something that is beneficial, and you can grow some of your food in there, so produce. The ground here in Florida is primarily sand, so there is not much of nutritional component in there, and there's a lot of landfill as well. So just keep that in mind. You need to supplement your soil and bring in some good soil, whether it's from your own composting or you buy organic soil for your container gardens, for raised beds. They have them actually labeled as such if you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or any of these places. And then you can enrich the soil and make it more airy by infusing it with a little bit more of nutrients that you can buy. They are derived from stones that come from different areas, for example, and emulsified into powders. You can infuse your soil even more with more nutrition. Or you can go to the beach and collect some of that seagrass, seaweed. That has a lot of nutrients. Just mind you, it also has a lot of salt. So certain plants will not like too much of that, but certain, like tomatoes, they will love it. They will thrive in that kind of environment. So just be mindful of that. Something that aerates the soil even more is some kind of coconut husk or fibers of the coconut that you can then mix into it, and occasionally aerate the area wherever you're planting, even when the plants are growing. Raised beds is very good because you have a controlled area of soil, so it will not wash off with the rain and all the nutrients be washed off and so on. So if you create a berry, you can use a pallet, for example, and nail a little piece of wood at the end so that the soil doesn't bleed through, just so that you can contain it. And you can grow anything. I think we have a wonderful video that we have shared with Carly. She can send it your way about a pallet garden that I started, oh my goodness, maybe even 8 years ago or something like that. And it was behind a facility. that was used as storage. You can use a window box. You can use a tower garden. You can, if you want to go in further, you can do hydroponic towers. They are fun. And aquaponic, where you can have like a fish tank in the water. So you feed your fish, or you have your fish, and then you connect that water through pipes and create a hydroponic garden. So there is a constant circulation of the nutrients that come from the fish debris and then go to the plants. Then the plants send out their nutritional components back into the tank with the fish. Hydroponics is just simply, pumping water into the tower through pipes and then dispersing it. You can put nutrients. You have to put some nutrients into the water and put a timer on, and there you go. It's very easy and it looks beautiful. You can put it in your patio or your backyard somewhere, even inside if you like. Microgreens, simple and highly, highly recommended, highly nutritious, easy to grow. So you can actually buy little kits where you have a tray and you have a compartment where you put the water in, and it's elevated. The tray is elevated above it, where you plant your microgreens. They grow very quickly within days, some maybe a week. You snip them off and you put them fresh on your sandwiches or in your salads or whatever you're eating that day. So, and they are full of nutrients
I
and
think I have some
omegas.
photos. I'm going to scroll
Go
down.
ahead.
Some of the things that you explained.
Yes. Yeah, there are container gardens. You can see a variety of ways how you can plant and contain the soil, and also the growing of whatever you're growing, because some of the plants have a tendency of expanding and taking over, like sweet potato, for example, or lemongrass and so on. So
things you might throw out, right? Things you would normally throw out. But I think, Nada, you did mention to line, like we did at the facilities, if it's something that is not necessarily a natural organic product, maybe line it with the coconut pith.
Yes, you can do that, or you can simply buy, there is a liner, a gardening liner that you can put on the bottom, or you can simply put your recycled cardboards on the bottom, which will deteriorate with time and become part of the soil. But it's creating a barrier from whatever is underneath it, so you don't know what environmental issues there might have been. So you want to secure your garden from absorbing any of those chemicals there. So you're going to put a liner on the bottom, and then you're going to put your tray, your garden, your raised bed on top of it. Okay, and if you are using metal or any such a thing, it would be also great to line that, the sides and the bottom, with the coconut base as well. So it is protecting, shielding, but at the end, it's also going to become soil. So it's going to be absorbed into the soil. Look at all these beautiful creations that people have come up with. You can do your own, create your own, and there are others where you can create it in a circular mode or a square mode with a little indent where you can step in. It is raised. In the center, you can actually create a composting compartment as well. So slowly it will decompose. You have exit points for the worms to go through and digest whatever needs to be digested in order to create good soil. Tower gardens, look how beautiful they are, and very simple to maintain, easy to grow, lots of fun to watch everything grow. So no excuse if you have just a patio or a little balcony. Here you go. And the microgreens that I mentioned before, look how easy it is to grow that. It really takes no time. It doesn't require much. It just requires the water and the base where you can put the seeds in. And you can actually buy like biodegradable sheets with seeds embedded in them. You put them in those trays, they will absorb the water, and there you go, they will grow. And then you snip them and place them right on your plate. So how do you start, right? First of all, as I explained, you create your environment, you protect your growing environment from whatever the environment before that was. And then you put good soil, and now you put in your seeds. If you want to see something grow very quickly, then you go and to an organic grower and get your seedlings, and you can, plant your seedlings there, which then will make it much quicker in your harvesting time. Okay, so when you plant seeds or seedlings, please make sure that they are organic, that they are not GMO'd. So if you want to start living a healthier lifestyle, that would be a very good thing to do, because in the GMO, there are so many components that are interfering with our digestive system. So we cannot digest what has been created in most of the times, and then we developed all these allergies. I know, for example, wheat, right? There's so many people that are wheat intolerant and gluten intolerant and all of that, and that's because of the GMO. They have created like a monster kind of a seed that is ready for the spraying of the pesticides. That's in the seed itself already, so it's asking for it. There is a DNA strand that usually should be 14, 18, and now it is 45. I mean, there are so many components that we just cannot deal with, and therefore we develop all these digestive issues and all kinds of allergies. You can sow in our environment, you can sow the seeds directly into the soil, or you can have biodegradable little cups or some kind of seeding cups where you have the good soil in it, and you just put a couple seeds per cup. Maybe you put 2-3 seeds per cup. So if one doesn't make it, maybe the other 1 or 2 will make it, okay? Not every seed is guaranteed to grow. So don't put them too deep. As the rule of thumb, it is that you go 2 to 3 times thickness of the seed in the depth. Okay, so the tiny seeds are closer to the surface, so they don't have to work too hard to come up for air. And the ones that are bigger, they go a little deeper. Or if you're using, let's say, if you're wanting to plant a potato, you would cut the potato into the squares where there are little roots already starting. You've probably seen when you let a potato sit, there will be roots that will start growing. Now you can cut that potato into 4 compartments or maybe more. Put that in the soil, and remember to put it like 2 to 3 times deep as that a little seed of the potato is. So you plant it deeper. And then don't forget to water it every day, so that, of course, don't water when it's raining. I mean, you are overdoing it. Make sure that it's watered but not overwatered. So how do you know when it is too dry or when it is too soaking wet? Okay, you take a handful of the soil, and if you can squish it and it sticks together, right, you will first of all see a lot of water coming out. It will stick together like clay in a way. That is too wet. Okay, it has to be crumbly and moist, but crumbly, so it can easily fall apart. It can breathe. If you can blow it away, well, it's dust, so there is no water there. Okay. And make sure that you place them into a sunny spot where there is plenty of light, so that those seedlings can grow and prosper. So it's I would say you usually would want them to be exposed for 5-6 hours or 4, 5, 6 hours a day to the sun, and then there is some shade so that they are not in the heat of the day and being scorched. All right. And you never water in the middle of the day. Why? Because the heat of the sun and the water will burn those delicate little seedlings that are growing. When these seedlings are strong enough, when they're about 2 to 3 inches high, and they have a good strong root base, that's what grows first. The roots grow first. I'm sure you've heard about the story about the bamboo, right? For years, for 5 years, you see not much of growth. But if you would look underneath, there is a rhizome of root system that has grown drastically in order to support that's what's coming, that huge bamboo tree, which will now grow several feet per year very quickly. Okay, so now you have your seedling, you plant it where you want to plant it, and you plant it maybe 5 to 10 inches apart, depending upon what the seedling is. Is it going to be bushy and grow big, or is it going to go into the height and go that way? If it goes into the height, it will need support. Like tomatoes like to grow high, or peas or beans, some of the string beans, they climb. Okay, so just remember, if you're having those planted, they will need a structure to support them. Whether it's, a string that will hold them up, that you can tie on the ends to something that is solid, or you just create like a little trellis of some sort where they can then grow upon and maybe beyond. They can just grow over and fall if they have a support system there. I mentioned already GMO, non-GMO, and here is a great list which you can, look up and look for yourself. Just go and learn, investigate. So local and sustainable, lesser carbon footprint, green markets, fresher and tastier, of course. If you can't grow yourself, connect yourself to a local grower that grows, a farmer that grows organic food, or to an organization that grows maybe community gardens, like we do, the Joseph Corey Foundation. We have a community garden at the Riverbend Park, for example. And there's many other locations so that you can participate in it and you can grow healthy food. You know what you're planting, you know what your soil looks like, what you've put into the soil, and what you're treating your plants with. No surprises there. Okay, that's called sustainable living and healthy living. Each seed pocket will tell you the lifespan of the seeds in them. Usually they last for years. Okay, and you can collect your own seeds from your plants that you're planting. If you let them grow, you will see they will start to bloom, and after the bloom, what happens is the remainder is a seed. Now you can keep that seed, dry it, just let it dry, put it in a dry baggie and keep it for next year's planting, and you have collected your own seeds. You don't have to buy them anymore. That's another way of creating a sustainable living. How do you tend to your garden? So first of all, have a connection to your plants, to your garden. Be there every day. Water them early in the morning or late in the day. You will see them grow, and they will teach you what they like and what they dislike. Okay, they will tell you when they are kind of looking a little wilty that they need water. They need more water, and they will prep up if you do that. Maybe the color of the leaves, the green, will maybe turn a little more yellow or something. that means they're deficient in some kind of a nutrient. Okay, so occasionally you can put some natural nutrition in there and around the plants, and they will thrive. They will really thrive. But if you have prepared your soil and made it nutritious, you will not need to do that for the duration of getting your growing going. Okay. How do you keep pests at bay? Okay. First of all, companion planting is the first thing you can do. So the very potent plants like maybe chives, garlic chives or any kind of chives, uh, peppermint, oregano, thyme, all of these herbs are very potent. And usually pests don't like them because they are so potent. So you can plant them around or between those more delicate plants like maybe basil or parsley or lettuces and things like that. Okay, that's the first thing you can do. Now, if you have more problems, then you look for some natural, sprays that you can use as pest control. What is very good to use and not harmful, usually in many cases, could be like neem oil, just a little bit of neem oil and some of Dawn dish soap and water, and that will take care of many of these little pests that come. Mind you, when you're watering, it is good to water the base of your plant, not the tops, because the water sometimes might sit there and that will invite some of the pests to come in. So if you water more to the root, then you will avoid a lot of that. Okay. Harvesting, that's the fun time, right? That's awesome. So before you know it, in a couple months, you will have lots of things to harvest. And some of the things that will grow in your garden, like herbs, will require some trimming and they will continue growing. So they will continue giving. Lettuces will, you harvest them, you cut them. Arugula, for example, you could snip and they will continue to regrow. Even some spinaches might do that. So you just snip them with a scissor, like an inch or two from the bottom, and they will continue growing. The same thing with your beautiful herbs. Actually, the more you trim them, the stronger they will get. And you can plant your herbs around your trees or like a hedge, a decorative hedge. Yet it is an herb, so you can use that for your cooking or simply for aroma in your home, aromatherapy. So I mentioned that, if you allow certain plants to continue growing, they will bloom and then they will go into seeds, and then you collect the seeds, you dry them, and you keep them for your next adventure next year. All right, so cooking with your yield, that is so much fun. What can you do with what you plant? Well, it depends what you're planting. You can use pretty much everything in your salad. You can use pretty much everything in your juicing. You can dehydrate some. Have you ever had kale chips? They are fun and easy to do. You can simply create like a little paste and sprinkle it on your kale leaves, dehydrate them, and you have a healthy snack. And we have a whole plethora of such adventurous cooking with Nada on our website, the Joseph P. Corey Foundation's website, Cooking with Nada. You can get inspired. There's lots of fun ways to do that there. So why try to explain miracles to kids when you can have them plant a garden? Isn't that the truth? And I think that's a good one for all of us. So this will conclude our my little presentation. So now let's see if you have any questions for me. I hope you liked it. It was kind of short, to the point, but let's see.
There is one question about tomato and cucumber plants.
Should you pinch off new shoots? Yes. I actually remember that from my grandparents' time. Yes, we would always go in the garden and pinch off those new growths in our tomato plants in particular, because they are just taking away energy from the plant to grow strong and give good fruit. Yes, that's a good idea. And maybe, I don't know, when the tomatoes come, maybe we can show how that's done and what I'm talking about, that to clarify. Okay. All right.
Great.
Any
Great.
other questions? Kale chips. Yes, they're great. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So I invite you to participate in our adventures where we're planting gardens, right, Carly? We still have some locations that are, did they all plant yet?